people from us, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's so true. Same thing with aliens. Aliens could be us. I mean, they could have been humans. We might not even be from this planet.
We actually could be Martians.
Yeah, we could be the Martians. There's a lot of theories out there that we are, star children.
Yeah.
And this is where we were left. But it's all very interesting. But yeah, no, I definitely think there was other civilizations before us. It's just prehistory, and we've lost so much of it. But I mean, a lot of evidence is there. The thing is, what's going to last is just the stone buildings and whatnot. I mean, the same thing with our society. If someone discovered us thousands of years from now, what they're going to see is pieces of our building and whatnot. They're not going to see our books. They're not going to see our clothing. They're only going to find so much. I don't even
think they're going to find parts of our buildings because, I was reading that like our cements, okay, and our steels will only last so long. Now, you go back into the pyramids and stuff like that. Some of the cement they use and stuff back in that time frame, we can't even duplicate it. Yeah. I mean, the stuff was so way much stronger than anything that we can even comprehend today, let alone I don't care how many slaves you have. How did they manage to build the pyramids? Can't. Yeah, I don't see how it had to be technology far superior than what we have to done it.
Yeah, and it probably wasn't even the Egyptians as we know them. It was there when they got there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the concrete and that concrete, that's another thing we had to relearn how to do. But they were doing that. The Romans were doing that underwater too. They could make concrete that was set underwater, and their recipe was so weird. Like they included animal blood in it as well,
and ash and all that stuff.
Yeah, very alchemy. But it's and imagine what they're going to find 10,000 years from now, or 20,000 or 30,000 from our society.
Plastic, read stuff a lot of plastic credit cards floating in the ground.
But they're going to read our texts and stuff or our books and read about stars. We're talking about Hollywood stars in these texts, but they're going to stars. Oh, they must have been praying to stars. Or what? Think about how much we just get wrong when we're looking at ancient history.
Well, yeah. I mean, if we'll put it this way, if you were from another planet and were watching our TV, you'd honestly, if you were getting our signals, you'd look at what are those people? Well, what are they? I mean, they're what, more warlike and they live in a fancy house and drink martinis.
Yeah, they're not friendly. Stay away.
and they like blowing up their planet.
Yeah, and each other.
Yeah.
We're the only species that, is killing each other all the time.
Yeah. That's scary.
It is scary.
Yeah.
It is scary. I don't know what that says about our species. But yeah, if there are UFOs visiting our planet that are of alien nature, they're probably not too, they don't want to meet us anytime soon. They'd rather just observe us.
Well, I don't know. Some of the abductions they've had, some of the people, and I don't want to mention names. I mean, some of the stuff they say, I look at, wow, that's far-fetched. But some of it, when you really do the research on it, credible people, and it makes you wonder, maybe they are taking samples of human beings and, experimenting with human beings. It's like, honestly, if we found life on Mars, what would you think they would do if they found life on Mars? They would want to, they want to bring back a sample, wouldn't they?
No, they cut it up into little pieces. But again, I actually think these abductions and whatnot, I think it's us. I think it's our military doing that to kind of pin the blame on aliens, to make us fear aliens and fear contact. I think cattle mutilation, abductions, I think this is done by our military with alien reproduction crafts that we've built. And it's really just to sink it into our minds that, no, aliens are bad, so on and so forth. But I really think that I don't know. I think it's definitely the government.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff doesn't add up.
Yeah, and then you look at Area 51 going back, years ago. It's been so many scientists have come out, not a lot, but a few have come out and said that we were working on trying to, reconstruct UFOs, or even try to figure out the ones that they supposedly had, how they functioned, and try to design it. And then, the couple of people have come out and spoke about, hey, this is what I did, right? All of a sudden they got discredited, made out to like a strange sick person. And then all of a sudden their records of their college education, their employment, all that just kind of disappeared. But then, listening to some other shows, that when people did a background check, they would find little bits and pieces that did verify that person did have a degree, went to that college, and did have a job at Area 51, but they were discredited. And those other ones that kind of maybe voiced too much, all of a sudden ended up dead somewhere.
Yeah.
Strange.
Or committed suicide, or very questionable. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happens. And, it's I think it's the government that's shaping this whole narrative. And they're going to use it. They're going to use it where they're going to, fake an alien attack or so on and so forth to just dominate or force their agenda.
Yeah.
I think it's a high probability.
Eventually, I think it'll happen because
It's like a false flag operation, on a grand scale.
Well, I think what they're trying to do is condition us slowly. And they have been probably doing that for the last 20, 30 years, slowly condition us that there is life out there and that there is aliens, just to slowly prepare us for it, And that's at least how I feel.
Yeah, it desensitizes to this, so it's more easily acceptable. But I also think they're definitely pushing the fear factor when it comes to that through the media and whatnot. Hardcore.
Well, let's face it. If you were an alien race, okay, and depending on your race, right, you're either going to come down here, right, eventually sit there and say, hi, I want to help you people, or find out about you people, or 3, eliminate you because we find you're a threat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
Or you taste extremely good with barbecue sauce.
Well, I think, it's just as you say the government's afraid of what would happen if we found out about aliens. I think it's the same thing, too. The government's treating aliens like that, too. Like, what would happen if they came here? And they can only speculate the worst outcome. Because in survival, which is so, like, first circuitry, it's so reptilian-minded, but in survival, you've got to expect the worst first.
Uh-huh.
Just to survive. So I think that's how the government operates too. And, that's what they're treating us as.
Well, I look at it this way. If there is aliens and they come down, if they wanted to take over the world, I don't honestly feel, that we would have the means to really defend ourselves because they're going to be so far advanced from us. I mean, they could just, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, somehow.
With the crafts that they're purported to have, I mean, like, they could easily annihilate us. That's, I think, this whole fake battle war of the worlds that the government's going to set up is going to be actually like we do have a chance, and it's going to like join the world together. It's just, I don't know. I have strong suspicions that something's going on in that regard when it comes to a lot of these evil alien, stories you hear. I think it's us because it would seem something like only we would do to ourselves,
Well, when I think about this, right, we were so anxious, right, to explore space, to get onto the moon. And, we had the shuttles, right? But what did they do? They went around the Earth. We had the space station. Okay, it's above Earth, right? But we've never gone back to the moon. And I would think that, with the technology we have, I think we should. I would, if I was head of NASA and the government, I would have been back to the moon 20 years ago with our technology, and just going to the moon and landing a few times and say, "Oh, there's nothing there." We only landed on one side of the moon. And it makes you.
Well, who's to say that we're not still on the moon and we haven't been going back to the moon and we don't have bases there? I mean. That seems very much like something we would do, or our government would do.
Or we went to the moon and we were told bluntly not to return again, or you won't be a planet anymore. I mean, some of the astronauts, famous ones, have come out and said,
"There's a base."
Yeah, that they saw. They saw something on the opposite side of the moon that was a base.
Yeah. Towers.
Yeah. And UFOs, following the capsule and flying by. Then of course they were kind of discredited, but they didn't kind of come out and say this towards the end of their life. But again, I mean, you know, when you get towards the end of your life, when you're in your 70s or so, you're not going to be so scared to sit there and tell the truth.
Yeah.
Than if you were like in your 40s or 50s, because I'm sure when they got debriefed, they were told if they said anything, this is what can happen to you and your family.
Yeah. No, I'm sure. Unless they're part of the whole disinformation team, too, whether they know it or not.
Yeah.
It's their job to feed disinformation. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's nothing when, like, you know, people say, like, well, this guy's a policeman and this is what he saw. This guy's in the military and this is what he saw. We have to believe them. We don't necessarily have to believe them because they could be used against us as tools of disinformation, too. This is what they were allowed to see for a certain agenda, you know, like to reinforce something, you know, like, so you got to question everything is what it all comes down to. Well, unless you're there.
Yeah, and it's been so many cases of things seen. I mean, you know, police officers, military people, you know, coming out and saying, hey, they saw a UFO. Look what happened over in England and the UK back in the 80s, okay? Supposedly a UFO went over a Air Force base. And and you know, it was seen by the security crew and a lot of people on the base. And you know, one of the persons was a deputy commander. And then again, UFOs over missile silos, where all of a sudden a missile would all of a sudden, you know, start functioning like it was going to take, you know, go somewhere. And then at the last moment, it would cease to function. You know, it's like telling us, hey, you know, you do this, you know, this is what we can do to you.
But that could have also been a manipulated event by the government. They wanted these guys to see that and believe a certain thing so that they would end up spreading the story. You know, like it could be a disinformation. I mean, it's bizarre. I mean, but they've done it. They've done it before with everything. So you got to think about it from so many different angles and do what if. Well, what if this? What if this? We don't know the scenarios.
Well, you know what? If I didn't want you to believe something, I'm going to tell you the opposite. So if there, you know, if there was, you know, UFOs, I might take a certain amount of people and sit there and get them convinced there's UFOs, so they can go around and tell it, right? So they can discredit them, and you know, that's a good way to do it. You know,
there's that, There's that too. I mean, a lot of this information that makes its way out into like you know, what are those magazines that you see when you're standing in line at the grocery store, the Inquirer and whatnot. A lot of those stories are probably true, but it's the publication that adds it just discredits it right there. You know, that's what they want. Yeah. So again, there's a mix of truth and there's a mix of disinformation out there, and it's tough to figure out what's real and what's not.
Well, put it this way: if I went out driving and I saw a bright light over my car again, you know, I don't know. Maybe they looked at me and they said, "Hey, this guy isn't worth abducting." You know, that you know.
There's that.
I would have felt sorry for. I would have felt sorry if they would have abducted myself and my first wife. They would have had to put up with her for whatever length of time. I would have felt sorry for those guys.
Leave her up there.
Yeah. Surprise. No, anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But anyway, so now let's get into your YouTube channel. Yes. And you and your partner has been doing these videos. I was watching the one that ended with the razor. Yes. And now
our final episode for last season.
Now that's kind of paranormal, where all of a sudden the razor is like come to life. Yeah.
That was a loose tribute or homage to Evil Dead. If you've ever seen Evil Dead with Bruce Campbell, or Army of Darkness, there was a lot of like references to those movies and those films. As we've done in a bunch of our shows, we do like different throwbacks or homages to different films, like Psycho. We've done some Pink Panther episodes, but that one was a Evil Dead type episode where we're turned into razors ourselves by a radioactive razor.
Who writes those stories, by the way?
We all write them for the most part. That one was a lot of that was me. It was probably 75% me. But we have a whole group of us, a whole production team. But we get together and put them all together, put together an entire season before we actually start filming. And so we're actually doing that in the next couple of weeks for season 2.
Okay, how long does it take you actually to write one of those little stories?
Not really long. Not long. We have we have a real great chemistry, the four of us. So, yeah. Once I